I'm a McDonald's employee. As you know, McDonald's happens to be the most popular fast food chain in the world. It's in every single continent, apparently. The McDonald's that I work at is in a town in Wisconsin. I think it's either Independence or Ellsworth. I forget. Anyway, we were still open. We usually close about 10 or 11. We're not open 24 hours like the other McDonald's seem to. I was up at the front counter, taking orders for people that would come in, maybe have a late night snack or something like that. At about 9:25, close to 9:30, some guy walked in. I hadn't seen this guy before, but we sometimes get a bit of some weirdos or two every day. I didn't really quite care. The guy looked a bit weird, though. He had a black hooded sweatshirt, ripped jeans, and pointed boots. I kind of smelt a little bit of some burning smoke on him. The guy walked up to the counter, and I then said, "Hello, welcome to McDonald's. Can I get you anything?" The guy stood there for 2 minutes without saying a thing. I then asked the guy, "Are you alright? You smell a little bit burny." Once again, the guy didn't say anything. I said the second time, "Welcome to McDonald's, can I get you anything?" The guy, without looking up at me, put in his order. 2 burgers, a large fry, and a cup of blood, and a nice water. I froze there a little bit. The reason I froze was because of the third thing. Sorry, I slurred a little bit. This encounter still kind of scares me a little bit. The third thing that he said confused me. A cup of blood? What the hell did that mean? We didn't sell that, but people that come in usually say some weird things. Anyway, I put in the order, but then I asked the guy before I handed him the receipt, was that third thing a cup of blood? Do you mean like a cup of ketchup? The guy then slightly looked up at me. I saw a little bit of some red. Couldn't tell what it was. Either it was his eyes or it was something else. I got a little bit of some fear in me when I looked at him. He then said louder, "A cup of blood, you idiot." Unbelievable. No one who comes in calls me an idiot, and this guy just did. But I didn't care. I handed him his receipt, but he told me no, and that once he would call me, he would come and get it. This doesn't make any sense. If you hand someone a receipt, they usually take it. This guy was hell for about the next 10 minutes while everyone was working on their things. The guy sat in a seat that was close to the front. He kept constantly looking at me. Yet he still had his head down. The burning smell was actually increasing a bit. I smelled it all the way over to the register. I had to cover my nose a little bit and go into the back. I then told Greg, who was one of the cooks, if that guy requested that cup of blood that he had been asking. Greg said yes, and that he, Joey, Celestia, and Katie were had cut their fingers, and I made a cup of blood for the guy. I said okay, but it still seemed odd that the guy would request that. That was, I think, the weirdest thing that anyone had requested, but I didn't care. The guy's order came up, and I placed it on the cash register, and said, "Guy?" The guy slowly, but now menacingly, walked up. He grabbed his tray and stood there for a minute. That wasn't until he fully looked up at me and told me, "Thank you. Your sins have been erased." I could tell what the redness was. It was his red eyes. I was burning alive inside when I was looking at him. The guy went to go and sit down. At about 10:30, about a half an hour close to locking up, he was still there. I was doing my night shifts, and I decided to go and talk with the manager about this guy. Because this guy was starting to freak me out. Every once in a while, he would turn to face me, and I would always get that twinge of fear. I tried not to look at him, but about the 10th time that he looked at me, I decided to look back at him. His eyes just looked so menacingly, and they were focused on me. I had no idea what this guy was planning on doing to me or anyone else. When I went to go into the back, what I really did was go to my manager's office. Greg, who was the manager for this specific McDonald's, told me to come and sit down. I told him everything about the guy, and he then asked me details about the guy. I told Greg that he wore a black hoodie, ripped jeans, spiked boots, and that he had red eyes. A look of worry spread across Greg's face. He started typing on his computer. I couldn't tell what he was typing. That wasn't until he spun his computer around, showed me a picture. Picture of a guy with a black hoodie, ripped jeans, spiked boots, and red eyes. I saw the name at the top of the picture. Deathaknight. That's when it hit me. This guy, whoever it was whoever was on that picture. Greg then began explaining that some YouTuber named MetaKnight9912 created the demon called Deathaknight, and that there have been numerous sightings of this creature all around the country, even in other countries across the world. I slowly but carefully walked back out to the cash register. And the guy was still there. But this time, he was over by the soda machines. And yet he was still looking at me. He wasn't even doing anything. He was just there and looking. I walked back to the kitchen. But when I did, I heard what sounded like the door open. When that door opened, I immediately was freaked out. He was back there. I knew that he was. I suddenly told everyone to go out the back door. Greg, however, locked himself. When we all went back in, he was good as dead. His stomach was cut wide open. He had a large gash mark across his neck. We called the police, but they ultimately thought that it was definitely responsible. Ever since then, I never worked or went to that McDonald's ever again. That guy scared the hell out of me. I will never think McDonald's the same way. Burger King has always been my favorite restaurant to go to. Once every week, I would always go to Burger King. God, their stuff is so good. But after this encounter, I moved my interest to McDonald's. Something about this just always gave me nightmares about it. Almost like whoever that was, just, I don't know. It was a Thursday night, rainy night, however, and I was on my way to Burger King to get something to eat. When I got there, it was really quiet. There weren't as many employees as there usually was. There was just the woman at the front counter, 2 of the chefs, and the drive-thru lady. No one else. Not even the janitor. I then asked the lady, "Where is everyone else?" She said that they went home, but to kind of beware of the guy sitting in the far corner, that he had been sitting there for the past 2 hours. And she then said, maybe he just wants someone to talk to and maybe I should go sit by him. I said sure and put in my order. Once my order was ready, I picked up my tray and went by the guy. The guy then turned and faced me, but he had his head down. He wore a black sweater with a hood on it. The hood was over his face. Ripped jeans and spiked boots. It looked like he had some spiked bracelets and biker gloves on. I noticed that his nails were really long. Longer than mine even. I said to the guy, "Hi, I'm Roger. What's your name?" The guy said nothing. I said, "Are you new in town? Did you just move in? How come I've never seen you before?" The guy then started tapping his fingers. He did that about 5 times and then stopped. I thought that he was getting annoyed, so I stopped asking questions. It wasn't until the guy then looked up at me. His eyes were so red. They were solid red. They weren't just like tint red. They were solid red. I then said to the guy, "Hey man, are you okay? You need to go to the hospital?" I could tell that the guy was shaking his head, because I saw his eyes move from side to side, which meant no. I then said to him, "Who are you?" 5 minutes later, with no response, he then slowly put his hands up to his hood and removed it. I could see more details. These details still terrify me. Stone gray skin, a stitched up scar down his left eye. His eyes were definitely red. He had frizzled up hair that looked like it was stained with blood. I saw what looked like a large bloody gash mark on his neck. He looked right at me. And he then said in a dark voice, "I am the Knight of Death." I freaked out. I freaked out so bad that I ran out of my seat and over to the counter. I told the cash register lady to call the fucking police. This guy was not a normal person. She didn't believe me at first until she looked over at the guy and saw who he really was. He then got up and started slowly walking towards me and her. She then told someone in the kitchen to grab the nearest phone and call 911. This was obviously serious. The woman told me to turn around as the guy then lunged at me and tried stabbing me with his long as hell fingers. I forced his arms back, but he actually got me on the cheek. I screamed out loud and punched the guy in the face, but to no effect. "What the fuck?" I said. I then shouted at the guy, "What the hell are you?" The guy then said, "I am the demon that will drag your soul to hell, where you belong for your sins." 5 minutes later, while resisting this guy and trying for him not to hurt me more, the police then arrived. The guy let go, stepped back about 5 or 6 steps. He then shouted out loud, "I'll see you both in hell." After he laughed, a blazing light then appeared, and he faded into the ground. To hell, I would guess. The police then barged in, and they saw the terror on our faces. They asked us where the guy went, and they saw the scorch mark on the ground. We both pointed at the ground where the scorch mark was, and we both said simultaneously, "Down there." The police just looked at us, all confused. They took me and the woman in for interrogation, but ultimately, we couldn't really quite support a lot of stuff. Everyone at this point knew of Deathaknight. I think that's who it was. The night of death? It had to be. There's no way that it couldn't be. Ever since that night, I never went back to that Burger King. I've gone to other Burger Kings every once in a while, but that one scarred me. I preferably now go for McDonald's or Taco Bell or even Arby's, but Burger King, I will never like again. This was the worst night shift of my life. I will never do night shifts again. I work at an Arby's. You know, roast beef sandwiches, chocolate turnovers, curly fries, all that good stuff. I was the janitor, and it was just about closing, and I was doing my shifts, when a guy walked up to me. I couldn't tell who he was. All that I knew was that he had a black hooded sweatshirt, ripped pants, spiked boots, spiked bracelets, and biker gloves. I looked up and I noticed that he had red eyes. Red as the devil. I said to the guy if he needed anything, and he just told me, "Where is the back entrance?" This was weird. If he was a customer, why would he need to go out the back entrance? I said, "Just through that door and to the right." The guy said thank you and walked the path that I told him. It wasn't until the guy met someone along the way, and the guy took the other guy out back. I started getting worried about the guy that the hooded guy had met, so I decided to go out the back door and look down the alley. Well, it wasn't really an alley, it was a back lot. I looked across the parking lot and saw the hooded man and the other guy get behind a dumpster. I decided to go behind the other dumpster and see what he and the other guy were doing. I could see that the hooded man was gripping the guy with glasses, I was able to see that the other guy had glasses. The hooded man was gripping him by his throat. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but one of the things that I did hear him saying was, "I'll drive you to hell for your sins. You will pay with your life." I was getting confused. What was this guy talking about? All of a sudden, I heard what sounded like a piece of metal unsheathing. I looked around the corner of the dumpster again and saw that the hooded man was now wielding a knife. It was a weird looking knife. I couldn't tell really much designs on it. But all of a sudden, the hooded man reared it above his head and then slashed it down. The glasses man then screamed out in agony. He screamed for about a minute. Suddenly, I heard multiple jabs into the glasses man. That wasn't until a loud thump. I looked over, and the hooded man was now looking down at the glasses guy. There was blood now going everywhere from the guy with glasses. That wasn't until the hooded man looked at the other dumpster and happened to see me. I booked it towards the back door, but the hooded man was too quick. He stopped in front of the door and held the knife towards me. He then said to me, "You shouldn't have seen me in action. Now everyone will know what you've seen." I told the guy, "Hey, look, man, what the hell do you want? And what the hell did you mean that you would drag that guy to hell for his sins and that he would pay with his life?" The hooded man then said, "You really don't know who I am." The guy then removed his hood, and what I saw terrified me. He had stone gray skin, a stitched up scar down his left eye. His hair was ruffled, and I could see blood. A large bloodied gash mark was on his neck, and I saw those red eyes. He then told me, "I am the Knight of Death, but you can call me Deathaknight for short. And because you've seen what I have done, now you must pay for your sins." I started running, and the guy was walking behind me. I was able to flee away. I was able to flee into the bushes, and the guy lost me. Suddenly, I saw what seemed like a blazing light and laughing. I looked up from the bushes and saw a fiery vortex underneath Deathaknight. He then faded into the vortex. I was able to get out far enough, but I didn't want to go too far, otherwise I would fall in. I was looking at hell. Hell was down below, inside the portal. As soon as the portal closed, I ran through the back door and told my boss that I quit. He asked me why, and I shot him, "All this demon stuff that you have, you deal with it. I'm not dealing with it another second longer." I then dropped my janitor stuff and told the guy to go, and told my manager to go fuck himself with this demon stuff. If anyone was gonna be dealing with this, I didn't want to. I barged out the front door, got in my truck, and drove home. But not until I looked in the rearview mirror and saw the guy again. This time, I rammed into him with the back of my truck. He went flying. He even busted through the fence. I looked behind me, and he got back up. Not until I was able to see a gesture that he was doing. He raised his hand and pointed out his thumb and slid it across his neck. That obviously meant that he was going to kill me. I drove away, and I didn't stop until I got home and laid on my bed. Ever since that happened, I've had nightmares about it, and never have I done a night shift. I now work on an office building in the city, but I never did night shifts. I never did them again. Something about that night, and the way that that guy was acting, just puzzled me. It's puzzled me ever since. Why was that guy there? And what did he mean to that guy when he said that he would drag his soul to hell for his sins?